Right, welcome everybody for a new episode of 20 Minutes with Roy. Today we have our pocket rocket from the girls team, Coryn Rivera. Welcome, Coryn.
Hey Roy, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm fine. But let me first start the timer, because otherwise we forget about the concept 20 minutes. I announce you as Pocket Rocket, but is that actually your nickname also, or did I just pop it up?
Well, I was always told that the nickname finds you, and you don't pick the nickname. So, but actually, that was one of my older nicknames when I was younger. Kind of had a few, or a lot actually, growing up. So, but that was actually one of them.
And that's also what they call you still, or they have a different? No.
I think some people call me that. One of my first nicknames is like Coco. One guy called me a cocktail napkin with an outboard motor once. So I have a few different kinds of nicknames.
Which one was the favorite?
Yeah, I think Coco kind of like lasted the longest and is not really race related and more related to my name.
Everybody can use that.
Yeah.
Hey, Coryn, how are you doing? You're obviously in the US at the moment. Maybe take us back to the moment that the Corona crisis basically cancelled a big part of our season. Where were you at that time, and how did the news come to you?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a whirlwind. It happened really fast. I was actually in Mallorca doing a personal training camp, and then I was coming back and getting ready for Drenthe. And already when I was in Mallorca, Strade Bianche got canceled, so that was a bad sign kind of coming. And then that Friday, the girls who were doing Drenthe Acht, on their way out to their race got canceled, so they turned around and came back. And then that's when we kind of figured out that Drenthe would get canceled, and eventually I think it would be safe to say that a lot of the Belgian classics would also get canceled too. So then I think I woke up the next morning, and then Trump closed the borders, so then it was kind of a panic, like, can I go home, or can my fiance come visit, and a little bit chaotic. And then the next day I got a flight home, and then Sunday I flew. So within the span of like 4 days, it went from training to be peaked for the spring classics to heading home. So complete 180.
Yeah, complete 180 degrees turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whirlwind where you were in at that moment then, huh?
Yeah.
What was it for your, what did it do to your feeling? Because when I look back, the ladies team, they were really in a good pace.
Mm-hmm.
They won with Liane Great Ocean Road Race, which was a really big victory, I think. And I think also the other girls who were not in Australia were on a good way to be in a good shape in the classic season, which was also for you one of the highlights of the year was coming up really quick at that moment, but then all of a sudden it got completely turned around. What did that do with your motivation or with your with your attitude towards cycling as a sport?
Yeah, we had a great start, and we were really motivated to keep that momentum going. I did at least do head newsblad, so I at least had one race under the belt and was able to put a number on before the coronavirus hit. But coming home, I had to reset a little bit. I think the Olympics were kind of keeping me motivated and going, and then that obviously got postponed. So then had to take a little bit of a mental break and reset and kind of let things settle down first. But I just really enjoy riding, so I was still able to, go outside and enjoy that, without a goal behind it, but still knowing that, the races will start up eventually or at some point, and I just need to be ready. So, and I just like to ride, and the weather's nice at home, so yeah, I can't complain too much.
That's nice. You're in California at the moment then?
Yeah, I am.
That's where you live in the US.
Southern California.
How is it actually to be for your work more than half of the year on the other side of the world? How do you do that? How do you keep the spirit up there at that moment?
Yeah, I'm pretty focused when I'm in Europe. I think we're normally pretty busy with races and camps and traveling, so it's almost like a Zen state. You know, you're really just focused on one thing. You don't have to worry about a lot of other things. It's really just about yourself. So that's nice. So then you can really fully focus on racing. But then when I'm normally not racing, especially in the off season, and I'm back home, or in a normal season, I go home for 1 month for a couple times throughout the year. Then it's a bit of a treat, and I get to appreciate my time at home a little bit more, because then I'm normally not at home. And then it's, you know, I can really focus on training. I know my roads, and the weather's nice. I can always count on that, and just spend some time with family and friends and my dog. So, yeah, there's a good balance there.
Yeah, you normally divide really the season into blocks. You do blocks of like peak level in Europe with the racing, and then basically the build-up you do in the US then again.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. And then I come home for nationals normally, and then go back to Europe for the end of the season, and then come home for the off-season.
Yeah, well, that's also, yeah, I think that's also interesting to know. Because yeah, some guys and girls who do professional cycling in Europe, they are the whole season in overseas, and yeah, like you, I think you proved that this way also can lead to nice successes.
Yeah, for sure. I think
also,
for me at least, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. What are you missing the most when you're in Europe from the US?
What I miss the most is like some of my favorite foods, especially Mexican food. No offense to Europe, but you can't really do like a burrito that well.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because all the times when I did the Tour of California in my career, then a burrito eating was also one of the first things we wanted to do there. So
yeah.
I can really understand what you mean. Another thing what I always remember from the Tour of California was your family always following you during that tour with the big camper and the dogs around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really made it like, yeah, for sure the spirit your family brought to our women's team was really a nice atmosphere to enjoy the race and perform at a high level. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Is your family really passionate about cycling, or how did that come?
Yeah, my family is definitely a wild bunch. They love me a lot, and yeah, actually growing up, going to races and going to national championships and whatever else, even just family vacations before I started racing, always included the motorhome. So that was like one of the main things growing up, and we'd go to national parks and state parks and go camping, go stay on the beach, or go to the mountains, or go snowboarding. So it was always part of our life. And now that I'm older and I'm traveling a lot more and racing all over the place, they can't do it as much. So luckily the last 3 years, Tour of California was a World Tour race, and we were in it. So they kind of pitched in and kind of relive some kind of old memories kind of thing with the motorhome, and share what we normally do and our traditions with the team. So that was really nice to share, and you know, the team could benefit off it too, because then we had a little bit more space to get ready and our own bathroom and privacy. So that was also nice. But yeah, my parents love to do that, and it works out for us, and that's just something we've always done since I was a kid.
Yeah, maybe to paint the picture for the viewers. The mobile home of your family, that's basically the size of a standard house in the Netherlands almost. So it's not something special that you say that it gives added value to the team. So they have space for privacy and for a shower. It's really a really big camper van where you were on the road. One important highlighted in that camper van is Tank the dog.
Yep, Tank.
Alright, Tank is the name, huh?
Yep.
How's he doing?
He's good. I think I can get him over here if you like. Tank!
Ah.
Come here! Come here! Come! Come here! I don't know. Oh, here he comes. Let's say hi to Roy. Come here. Up. Up.
Ah, there he is.
Tank.
Hi, Tank.
He's a little bit bigger than the last time you saw him at Tour of California.
How old is he now?
He's 1.5.
Oh yeah? Then he was little still, huh? He's not kind of a movie star, I think.
He's a little famous now.
There he He's famous on Instagram, I heard.
Yeah, he has his own account.
Ah.
So, that's Tank.
He's not a circus monkey. He doesn't do a trick for a cat.
He can. He knows how to shake.
I like that. Hey, Coryn, a thing we always do in this show is we ask the previous guest a question for the next guest. So we had last week Tish Benoit in the show, and he was planning a trip to the US. And he was actually curious if you had some tips for him, some things he really needed to visit when he was over there.
Well, depends what part of the U.S. It's pretty big, but road tripping is always fun, of course, to see all the different sites. But definitely a lot of our national parks are really pretty. Yeah, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, Redwoods. There's so many national parks throughout our country, and also Mount Rushmore. And actually, we travel a lot to these different national parks when I was a baby, even. So part of them I don't even remember. But it's really pretty and amazing, and it's like things that are bigger than you, and you stand over the Grand Canyon and you think like, man, this thing's huge. And it's like there's nothing, or there's like so many things there that you wouldn't know unless you actually visited. So I would recommend the national parks and state parks.
And if he has to choose East Coast or West Coast, what should he do?
Personally, I'm a West Coast person coming from California, and of course also visit the beaches too, and LA, and also San Francisco, and up and down the coast. So I would definitely recommend the West Coast, but I'm biased.
All right. Now I'm curious what Tish will do, but in the end, thanks for the tip. What I also wanted to discuss with you is actually your development as a rider. I looked a little bit up your results from the past. I also was really impressed by the amount of national titles you achieved during your career. 72, am I right?
That's right, 72.
But that's not only on the road, because there aren't even 72 national championships. Or am I wrong?
No, yeah, growing up, I did track and cyclocross. And then also in collegiate, I raced collegiately, so I went to college, and that had a cycling team, and I also did mountain bike as well. And actually when I was a junior, I think I finished my junior career with like 32 national championships, and that's like with all the different events of track cycling. And then in college, there were so many more championships. There was like individual championships and also team championships, so that kind of racked up the number and more than doubled it. So I can attribute most of the 72 to collegiate racing. And so that's 4 years there on all the different disciplines and different events. So it adds up fairly quickly. And then 2 pro road titles, and then I think 1 U23 title. So there's a big spectrum of titles there.
All right. Which one is the most special for you?
I think the pro road race title. I think I was after that for a really long time. I got second place, I think 3, maybe 4 times. So I was like so close so many times, and then finally got it. So that was really, really meaningful, and something that I just kept chipping at the rock, and finally got it.
That was definitely the one you fought the longest for.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and was it a hard choice to choose for specializing on the road and leave all the other disciplines a little bit to the background?
Actually not. I think I really love riding on the road. I love racing on the road, love training on the road, and it's something that you can just like get ready and just roll out the door and get going. Whereas with mountain and maybe cyclocross, you have to like ride out to some trails or drive out to some trails. Same goes for the velodrome. It's a little bit more location specific. You have to go to the velodrome. So I just really love that about road and being outside and the racing style and and the team aspect of it as well.
So it was a logic choice for you to choose for the road.
For sure, but I do like
something.
But I do like that the other disciplines kind of help road, and road helps the other ones too. So I still do a fair bit of like mountain biking, and sometimes I'll go to the velodrome here and get some leg work in. So I still do quite a few of the other disciplines.
You still use them to prepare your road races.
Yeah.
That's also nice, and I think mentally also something that's good for the variation of your daily life now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really nice.
Okay, and I remember when you came over from the US to RT before you were in United Healthcare, I think.
Yep.
And there you were more of really a sprinter, pure sprinter. And I think the first year you rode with Sunweb, you directly won Flanders and Trofeo Binda, or was it the second year?
Yeah, directly the first year.
Yeah, and actually since then you evolved more and more into a classic type of rider.
Mm-hmm.
You see that yourself? Is that something you work specifically on, or maybe first thought, did it surprise you that you could win Flanders and Binda in that time?
Absolutely. I think it's funny because a lot of people tend to label, and I was always kind of labeled as a sprinter, and yeah, that's probably one of my biggest strengths and better qualities. But I'm also pretty small, and I can get over climbs pretty well, and I've been working on my engine a bit more, and so that I can get to the final with the top riders and still have that kick. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm working towards, and I don't know if I was necessarily surprised. It wasn't necessarily like the goal. I think my first year I really just wanted to learn. But I think I also wanted to prove myself too. So I think I proved myself pretty well, and with 2 feet on the ground. So no, yeah, it was an amazing first year, and really learned a lot. Big steep learning curve for my first year in Europe. But yeah, it was really special to win big races like Binda and Flanders.
Yeah, and is that also now something you are more focusing on the classics than on the sprints, or do you still divide it the energy over both?
Yeah, definitely trying to develop more into the classic rider, and I think the sprint comes pretty naturally for me. So still trying to improve that, but I think the biggest room for improvement is like my engine in classic races.
So that's interesting to follow. So basically a pity that the classics were postponed this year. So we had to wait for that again. But luckily they are still on the calendar, and hopefully it will take place in autumn. So,
exactly.
Something to look forward to, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
If we, you described already before that, the first year you were here, you wanted to learn a lot by racing in Europe, racing for Team Sunweb. Now you're a little bit more than 3 years further, and you're in the team, one of the most experienced girls, and also a girl that all the new kids look up to. What do you realize you have that role or that statute in the team, and how does it suit you?
Yeah, for sure. It's actually funny to be like one of the older girls on the team, because normally I'm one of the younger ones. but it's funny because you go from young to like old. There's like not really a middle.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cool to share what I know, and also they keep me sharp to stay sharp for them. So no, I think it's a really special position, and not everyone can do that. So keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. Oh. Exactly
Already.
20 minutes at the moment. So yeah, we couldn't time it better, I think, huh?
Yeah.
First, I want to thank you for the nice chat. Of course, I also want to ask you the question to ask a question for the next guest. Next week we have Nikia's aunt from the World Tour team. You have a question for him?
I think my question for Nikias would be if he still holds the 1 minute record for power on the team.
I didn't know that he had it, but we will find out next week. So if you're curious if he still holds the record, then watch again next week. Thank you.